Welcome again to Introduction to Politics, and I'm really happy you decided to sign up for this online class. And this is going to be the first of a lot of what we're going to call those mini lectures, where you can kind of get them in bite-sized formats as we move forward. So that if you see a bunch of them, don't let that get you down. We're going to have lots of little ones. And in this section, what we want to take a look at is the big question, right? You've signed up for this class, introducing you to this topic, politics. But what, in fact, is political science, right? So what is politics in that way? And I'm hoping that by the time we get to the end of that class, you get to a far more robust understanding of what politics is. And this is something that is just vitally, vitally important in your life. So, for instance, in November of 2016, there was a huge study done on evaluating how people were able to reason online, what you're doing. And what they were looking was to see, could people tell the difference between fake news, between advertisements, between advocacy groups, and other forms of information. And the answer ultimately from this group, as a matter of fact, it comes from the Stanford History Project, was that no, that students across the board from high school and forward were not able to do this. As a matter of fact, they say it this way, that the people's ability to reason about political information online is bleak. And so what we want to hope to kind of do here by answering this question of what is politics in this kind of introductory way is to help you in your day-to-day life be able to answer these kinds of questions. So what is politics? And we're actually going to turn to a really famous definition by a guy named Harold Laswell, right? Gotta love him because he shares my name, right? So, woohoo! And he argued that politics is who gets what, when, and how. And that seems like a big definition, that there's a lot there. And it is, because when you think about politics, it's not just who's in office, it's about who's getting what, and why are they getting that stuff. Why does somebody get the money or not get the money? Those are the kinds of questions that we're going to deal with, more so than maybe what you thought about, which is just like, well, who's going to be president? And that's kind of more history. So politics is about studying power relationships among actors, right? So when you're saying who gets what, when, and how, what you're talking about is the distribution of goods. You're talking about the distribution of power. And so in our case, we're interested in political science about this question of power. So what we want to kind of get from this introduction is that politics is not just who's holding government office. It's about who gets what, when, and how. And it's about power relationships. It's about power and the distribution of power among different people, right? So that's really going to be our focus in this class, is to try to understand those power. So in our next lecture, we'll take a look at is, what is power?